Welcome to Defeat Your Cravings, hosted by Dr. Glenn Livingston, PhD. Glenn has held his doctorate in psychology for more than 30 years and is also a former multi-million-dollar consultant to the big food industry and uses his experience to help you defeat your cravings. This show will help you to focus on dramatically reducing cravings and leave the diet mentality behind, so you can more easily and effortlessly achieve your health, fitness, and body composition goals. Please remember, no doctor-patient relationship is created via this show, and you are responsible for confirming any changes to your diet, health, or psychological routines with an appropriately licensed professional before implementing them. Now, before we get started, if you haven't yet downloaded the free smartphone app to access dozens of these recordings all in one place, as well as to avail yourself of a confidential community for support, motivation, and assistance, please visit the podcast link on defeatyourcravings.com as soon as possible. And now, here's your host, Dr. Glenn Livingston.
Hey, this is the very good Dr. Glenn Livingston at defeatyourcravings.com. And I am here with a kind-hearted woman named Sabina, who's agreed to let me record this session so you can all benefit from her experience and strength and hope and wisdom, as well as her trials and tribulations and stumbles and falls. Right, Sabina?
Yes, definitely.
Talk to me. Tell me what's on your mind today. I think the audience probably knows you reasonably well and your background. Maybe give a really quick synopsis. How can I help you today?
I have been in the Defeat Your Cravings circle for a few years now. I have a long history of battling with dieting, being overweight, probably since I was a little kid. I can remember probably the first time I feel like I was addicted to food. It was fast food, probably. I was just very highly motivated by food for a long time in my early teens. I didn't go and see anybody, but I definitely used to binge and purge quite a bit. Lost a lot of weight at that age, and then eventually kind of stopped doing that. I think I picked up cigarettes, smoking instead of purging.
It's debatable which one is worse for you.
Well, yeah. The smoking made me not feel as full after I ate, probably is what happened. I have never purged, and I really don't smoke anymore either. But I have just battled with weight. I found your program after I had my second daughter. I just was at the gym every day. I had a personal trainer. He was giving me a meal plan. We were doing all the things, and I couldn't lose weight because I just could not stick to a diet. And I Googled, why can't I stick to a diet? And your book came up. And read that, and I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. I've never been able to forget that theory, the whole idea of the pig. I was never offended by any of that. It actually just resonated really well with me. And so I'd started your programs. I've had a lot of success losing weight and stuff like that. But I had a bit of a hiccup last year where I had quite a traumatic incident happen, and I kind of, started drinking a lot more, which has always been a bit of a weight gainer for me. And then obviously my rules went out the door, and then I kind of earlier this year gave up drinking a bit for many months and stuff, but I just cannot seem to get my weight loss under control again.
When did the trauma occur?
Exactly a year ago. So in September 2024, 1 year ago. And at that point, I was probably at my lowest weight that I'd been in years based on the program. And following my rules, I was just living really well, to be honest. And I will say that because I was doing that at that time or before that time, that really helped me in that trauma process as well. Like, I knew I had been the healthiest version of myself. So that was a really good thing for me. This program has really been very good to me in many ways in that sense as well. So yeah, it's been a year since the trauma. I have been still receiving coaching. I'm on a bit of a break at the moment from coaching, but I love my coach. When I'm working with her, I'm on it. I'm doing all the things. But when I'm not working with her, I do tend to kind of fall off. The weekends get a bit hazy and I might lose some weight but then I might gain it back in a week or two or something. I'm having difficulty getting back to that consistent journey of just weight loss. I think the thing is, like, I love my rules. My rules work for me. When I am following my rules, I feel on top of the world. When I'm not following my rules and I choose to binge, and I know that there are just some days that I'm like, okay, yep, cool. The pig is like, you should do this. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm in there with you. And I'm not doing my refutations and stuff. So in some ways, it's like I'm coming to you for help, but I also know exactly what I need to do.
Tell me exactly what you need to do.
I'm going to tell you what my rules are, if that's all right.
Please.
One of my biggest things is impulsivity. I'm just a very impulsive person, and impulsive eating just does not fare well for me. So anyway, one of my rules is I will never again consume, eat or drink anything that I have not planned in advance from the night before. And that's been one of my very original first rules. That stuck with me for a long time. And one that kind of came up last year was I will never eat more than 3 meals a day from a small plate, apart from a tiny bowl of fruit for breakfast every morning. I will never eat while standing unless out at an event where there is limited seating, such as a cocktail party. And I will never eat or drink coffee or alcohol out, eat or drink coffee or alcohol takeaway, order food, coffee or alcohol in, unless there is someone present who doesn't live in our household, or my partner and I are going out on a date without the kids. And my last rule is I will never go past 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. without commencing exercise Monday to Friday, except on public holidays and while on vacation.
They sound very well thought through.
They are very, very well thought through, and they are so good for me. They cover all areas. They cover the impulsivity, they cover the portions, they cover the takeouts and the eating out and the spending of the money on stuff like that. And then it covers my exercise, So this is why I say I know what I need to do. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I can coach myself, and I do coach myself sometimes. I have found that there are just some days that I just decide those rules don't exist to me. Okay, see, not me, but the pig decides those rules just do not exist to me. And I just carry on without them. And then there are days when I'm like, oh, wait, these are my rules I'm following. And I'm trying to decide if I am kind of doing that whole binge and restrict thing, even though on the days when I am following my rules, even though I am having only 3 small plates of food, I do not feel hungry. I am by no means feeling like I need to eat more food than what I'm eating.
So that's how you feel about it. What if you objectively assess it? If you put the food in Chronometer or, MyFitnessPal, just to kind of figure out how much you're having, and if it's...
I have put it in MyFitnessPal, and I have one of those like portion control plates. I always have veggies. I always have a starch and some meat. It's a good amount of food. And in the mornings, I'll have a bowl of fruit with it. So I feel like I definitely am getting food, and I am quite short, and I don't think I actually do require heaps of calories.
I trust you. I believe you. Where and when are you falling down? Is there a pattern to it, either in terms of what you're eating or when it happens?
The biggest time that I can see the fall down is on the weekends, starting on like a Friday evening, or definitely on a Saturday and Sunday. Sometimes it's just the Saturday or the Sunday. But what happens is I never come out of my weekend less weight. So let's say during the week, if I lose a kilo during the week, by the Monday, I'm back up to that. I can't break through losing like 2 or 3 kilos at the moment, and I have a lot of kilos to lose. But I cannot break through losing like 2 or 3 kilos, because it's like something always arises around a weekend, and my weekends then just get blown up. And then I just think, or the pig thinks, or the pig tells me, we can't deal with the rules right now. There's other things that need to be done, like
what arises on the weekends? What happens on the weekends?
I think what happens is there is that bit more of impulsivity. So even though I try to plan, or I do plan on the weekends, It just kind of comes to the point where, let's say I have an unplanned outing with a friend that I didn't know from the night before, and then she wants to go somewhere. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll come. Going there, I'm thinking to myself, you didn't plan for this, so you're not going to have that, or, you're just going to have a coffee. But then it's like I get there and there's all this excitement of being out, then I'm like, yeah, whatever. It just kind of goes out the
Could you
window.
have a weekend exception that allows you to plan an hour in advance instead of a day in advance? If you know you're going to go out, that you could write down something?
I think for me, that sounds a bit too close, an hour in advance, maybe the morning of.
And
If I knew in the morning, like before I had my first meal or something, but an hour in advance sounds too
too close,
open
too
and
impulsive.
risky.
Will you know in the morning what your plans will be that evening?
No, maybe not, to be honest. Yeah, maybe not.
When do you know? How much notice do you have?
I wouldn't know before my first meal. I would probably know by lunchtime.
Okay. So what if you planned at that time? What if you allowed yourself to plan at that time? Because what's happening is your pig is saying, screw the plan because it's not appropriate. It's not going to fit the new plans, your social plans.
Yeah. And I'm
Eh,
saying I'm agreeing with the pig, which is not
Yeah.
good.
See, and that's a lot more impulsive than planning 4 hours in advance, even though you'd like to plan 24.
Right. So actually, even an hour in advance is less impulsive than just doing what
Screw
the
it.
pig said.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think about it like that. So, any plan in that sense, if I have that written into my rule and that's the plan, there's not much chance for me to get stuck out being impulsive.
Yes, because it sounds like that's blowing up your weekends.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that's the thing, like, I think because it's all on me, no one else is doing this. None of my friends are planning their meals 24 hours in advance. No one in my house is planning their meals 24 hours in advance. So it's always on me, which isn't a bad thing, but I have to be the one to be like, are we doing anything tomorrow? What do you want to eat for dinner
Well,
tomorrow?
first of all, you're helping them by asking them those questions because most people don't plan. Most people live an impulsive life and they could be making better decisions and eating healthier and taking better care of themselves. Rather than let your pig call you a weirder, you could say, well, I'm actually being a leader. If we're going to eat healthy, then someone has to go first.
This leader thing has actually come up for me multiple times over the years because I've always kind of had to be the first one to do some of these things.
You could change that language from I've always had to I've always gotten to. You could look at it as something to be grateful for, that you are given these opportunities to be a leader. It might sound annoying to you right now, but
No, it doesn't. No, I think this is exactly what I want. I needed like a bit of a shift in perspective because a lot of my friends and family members are not overweight, but I would say they're all binge eaters. And I think they're okay with how they are. They're not overweight. So it kind of works for them in whatever way it works for them. I think for me, yeah, I get to be the leader, which again has come up as a really good thing for me in a lot of ways, especially as it relates to my kids and stuff. I want to be that. I guess the pig wears me down about it and says, man, this is hard.
it's not
This
fair. We're
it's
suffering. Why
not
are we so
fair.
different than
Yeah.
everybody else? Why can't we be
Why
like
do
the normal
you
people?
yeah, why do
Yeah.
you have to be the one to make the plan every weekend to see if you're doing something? Why can't someone else plan it? Ask you on a Friday night if you're going to do something,
Want to know the
like
best refutation I ever got for that? It's
what?
wow, 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 wow.
I think I need a wow refutation because I think the pig is just changing it up, but it's the same kind of squeals. It's the same kind of like, it's the weekend, you're left out. The same stuff happening over and over again, which I have to admit, I have gotten better at. Like, my binges are not as bad as they used to be years ago. And many things are not as bad as they used to be. And I have changed many behaviors as well. But it's just, I can't seem to get the weekends. are just thing. But this seems like a really actually positive idea.
Sabina, this is payback time. And by the way, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry for what you've been through. And I know it's kind of unimaginable, some of the things you've gone through. But
Thank you.
nevertheless, your pig is making you suffer more than you need to. It doesn't care what you're going through. It just wants to binge and it just wants the food. And it's trying to get you to feel really sorry for yourself. And it's not fair that you can't have fun like everybody else. Well, sometimes we have to take an attitude of payback against the pig. The pig has
Yeah.
had an attitude with us all these years. Now we're going to have an attitude against it. We're going to go, too bad, so sad. It's your turn to suffer. I'm going to enjoy my weekend. And you can write down whatever you want to eat. You've got great tools. You know how to do this.
I think that's the thing. I know how to do this. I know how to write my refutations. I know my rules, and I feel like I have found my rules. They do not need to change one bit, apart from obviously this for the weekends. But in terms of like the baseline of my rules are so strong for me. And I think the other thing is as well, like I am not restricting myself in lots of ways. I don't have any actual food group rules. I can eat whatever I want as long as it fits within the planning and the plate. And the truth is, the days when I follow my rules, even if I'm with friends, even if something comes up that I maybe choose not to participate in terms of if we go somewhere and I don't want to have something certain or whatever, that ends up always being the way better day than the day that I
And
don't
you're
follow
much
the rules.
happier and you
You
feel
know,
much more in control and you feel less
exactly.
traumatized at those times. You start to feel like yourself.
Yeah, and even going through the stuff that I went through and all that, the days when I am binging, I cannot actually access my emotions and my feelings to deal with my trauma.
When you're binging, you're not grieving.
No, no, I'm not. Whereas the days when I'm not binging, I can actually like feel what I need to feel and go through what I need to go through. And it's amazing. It feels good, even though it's sad feelings, it still just feels good to be like authentically in that space of like, okay, I'm not worried about food. My brain is quiet as it relates to binging and weight and all this stuff. Yeah, it's just payback for the pig now because I don't want to keep on this path of coming up to Friday, oh, the weekend, and I know that's the
You're
pig
starting to
too.
develop a phobia about the weekends.
Yeah, because the weekends feel like my bad time, if that makes sense. The weekends feel like, oh, you're just going to screw up.
Sabrina, the only other idea I had was that just for
Yes.
the first couple of weeks, maybe you shouldn't lose a kilo. Maybe you should lose a half a kilo during the week. Just take a little pressure off the weekends. Maybe for a couple of weeks, eat a little more during the week. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
I wonder if the pig is thinking, well, you took off a pound, now you can put it on this weekend. And maybe if we even it out a little bit, just for a few weeks to get you back on track. I'm not as sure about that intervention as I am about the wah, wah, wah intervention. I think I might help you.
In terms of that, what would you suggest? Because if I have my 3 plates of food and my snack, should I add another plate of food?
You mean if you suddenly find you're going out with your friends and you've already had your three
No,
plates?
when you're saying to lose a half a kilo instead of a kilo, like
Oh,
that would mean I need to eat more.
yeah, you would know better than me.
Okay, I can
It's,
experiment with that.
so a kilo is 2.2 pounds. So you'd want to make it only 1 pound. So that's about 3,500. So it's about 500 extra calories a day from where you are now.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I could do that. I can put that in.
400 extra a day, something like that, just to take the pressure off.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good. I think the pig says, I don't know about that. Or is that me that says, I don't know? Obviously, that's the pig's motivation, a fast weight loss as well. That definitely makes me feel uncomfortable to slow it down. But
Sabrina, just for a couple of weeks. I want you to have some success. You're leaning
yes,
towards saying I binge every weekend and I can't do anything about it. And I don't want you to believe that. I want us to prove the pig wrong right away about that. So just for a couple of weeks, then you can speed up the weight loss a little bit.
okay, that sounds good. Now back to the weekend. With my rule, I will never again consume anything that I have not planned in advance from the night before. How do I add in the whole weekend thing? How would I word that, should I say? Except for the weekend? Or is that like, I will never again consume anything that I have not planned in advance from the night before on a Monday to Friday?
Maybe you just say, because it sounds like you don't have many social events that are surprising you during the week. I never eat anything that I don't plan in advance the night before, except for surprise social events when I write down what I'm going to have before going to the event, even if it's the same day, with as much time as possible. It becomes a priority to write it down once you get the notice.
Yes, because that means I'll still be in my higher brain at that point, and I can make a good choice then.
And it would be much more impulsive to just say, screw it, let's do whatever the pig wants to do. We'll get back on tomorrow. That's where you're falling down. You write it up an hour beforehand, write it up 4 hours beforehand, whatever lead time you can get. And then try to get more lead time when you can. Try to work out your life so you have more lead time.
Yeah, I guess the aim is to continue to be that leader, to check in on a Friday, to see if there's anything happening on the weekend before, if I don't know of it. So still I'm trying to lessen the surprises, but if a surprise were to come up, I am kind of planned for it.
You have a contingency for it.
That surprise social event could be during the week as well. Okay, so that covers me. Ooh, that's nice. Okay.
It sounds like you weren't covered for surprises. You had more surprises on the weekend, but it could happen during the week, and this way you're covered.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
like your idea of being a leader. There's this quote from this Roman slave that said, rivers are much easier to cross at their source. Like if you follow them upstream to where the problem started before they become a raging river. So you check in with your friends beforehand. You guys want to go out this weekend? Get yourself more lead time.
Yeah, I think that sounds like the better thing for me to continue to do and accept, not accept, but, just take it on board. There's lots of things I take on board to do, so it's not the end of the world to keep that going. One of the other rules that I have, which is like my exercise rules. So I have found that for me to function at my best since last year with what's happened to me, I need a bit of exercise where I do some low impact cardio, and I have to start my day with exercise. But then at some other point during the day, I need to kind of do like something a bit more high impact. That's why I have this rule of I will never go past 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. without commencing some exercise or movement of my body, except on public holidays and while on vacation, which has worked really well for me in the past. However, over the last couple weeks, I just cannot get myself out of bed to like do my 5 a.m. workout, even though I know that it is going to set me up perfectly for the day. Like I have to do something before my kids wake up, so my brain is just in a better space.
Sure.
The pig has really been draining me on this one, and I have done many things. I have slept in my workout clothes. I have done a couple different things to kind of rouse myself. The one thing that does really work is my cell phone at my machine to get me there in the morning, because once I walk to my machine and my cell phone is on
Oh,
it,
that's
then
really smart. At your treadmill or something, it's right up. That's a smart idea.
yeah. So if I leave it to sleep on there, but then I don't have an alarm to wake me up, and then it becomes this situation of like, how do I do that and do this? Because the first thing I'm going to do when I wake up is look at my cell phone. If it's on the machine, I'll go. There's no way I'm going to wake up and not look at it. But I also need to wake up. But if it's over by the machine, I can't hear the alarm going off. Does that make sense? I know it sounds like a trivial thing,
Well, you could
but
get a microphone and a speaker, and you could amplify it.
Oh,
You get one of those little, I think they were called pig nose speakers. It's just a coincidence that that's what they're called. I used to be a rock and roll musician. You have one of those tiny little speakers. It might even be
yeah.
battery powered, and you have a microphone right there. And the microphone can't be right next to the speaker, or you'll get feedback, but you can put the speaker near your bed, and then you can amplify the alarm.
Oh, Obviously, the microphone and the speaker are not connected. It's through Bluetooth.
I would imagine. It's been a long time since I've used anything like that, and I'm
Ah,
making this up right now.
okay. Oh, now that you're saying it, I could also just get an alarm clock for beside my bed and not use my phone as an alarm.
Or we could build a spaceship.
Yes.
We could build a whole spaceship.
Something,
So
yeah.
when the phone goes off, it's going to take off and fly across the room and hit you on the head and make a ball fall on you.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, maybe I just need to get an alarm clock. Okay, that
That's
solved
funny.
that. At least if I leave my phone out of my room, my phone is in my bathroom, but that's close enough to my bed. It needs to be by the machine, I think, for me to have the most success.
Yeah. Sabina, the other thing I want to tell you is that it's going to get
Yes.
easier now that you're not going to be binging on the weekends because you're eliminating the pig's loophole. And so your depression is going to lift a little bit, I would imagine, because I think part of it must have been physiological.
Yes.
So I think you'll do a little better.
Ah, yes, that makes sense, Glenn, because obviously the binging on the weekend takes me 2 or 3 days to come to it. So it's not until, Wednesday that I'm kind of like, oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
rules, let's
right,
go.
right.
But exactly, if my weekends go according to plan, then I will not be in a binge hangover.
Right. And then the sloth from that hangover has some momentum. The sloth can say, who cares? Half the week is gone. You don't feel like it anyway.
Yes, yes. Okay, so it will be a roll-on effect.
I think this is going to be a positive snowball for you.
Oh, that sounds so good to me. I feel good about that. Thank you very much.
What else can I help with?
I think that's it. That feels good. I feel happy about the weekends that we just discussed. And that was kind of it. I think the pig scares me into thinking you can't have any conditional rules. It's either this way or that way. It has to be black and white. It has to be all or nothing. But this conditional rule actually does not feel like a full hard out conditional rule, even though it is. It for some reason feels perfect, I guess, for it.
You're adjusting your rule to meet reality. You're giving it a little bit of flexibility so that you can obtain the maximum amount of strategic planning that you can in spontaneously difficult situations. Sometimes the maximum is 24 hours, but there are a lot of times in life when you can't get more than 4 hours or more than an hour. Some is better than none.
I think in all ways anyway as well, I still have my other rules to back me up. So it's like, even though I have maybe an hour to plan for lunch, that still doesn't mean that I get to have 3 lunches. I still have to adhere to my 1 plate rule, or I still have to adhere to the fact that I can only do this because as long as it's with someone who's not from my house. So, if it's my partner who says, I want to do something for lunch, I can't do that. Or if he said we could do something for lunch without the kids, sure. But, I still have my other rules to keep me safe in other ways, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's why it feels okay. And like you said, yeah, it's just a bit more realistic. But yeah, it feels still safe. I don't feel like I'm in the open water.
Beautiful. What
Yeah.
questions or concerns do you have?
I think the pig's still a little bit stressed out about the slow weight loss that you've recommended, but I think I just probably need to just write that down anyway. But it's like, oh, that slow weight loss that Glenn's recommended doesn't sound good, but I'm not doing any weight loss
You're
at the
not going to
moment
lose. You're not
anyway.
going to lose any weight if you keep binging.
Exactly.
You can't lose
So
weight while you're binging.
exactly. So I think I just need to write that out and do some refutations. And I think I just need to actually get back into writing out some refutations when certain things pop up as well.
What's been your reluctance to write the refutation?
I don't know. I just go through phases. I go through phases where I have a notebook on me and I write down every single squeal and refute it right then and there. Then I go through phases, I guess, where I feel a bit too relaxed and I don't write out the refutations. And I guess that's how the pig starts to creep back in.
There's a third option, which is
Mhm.
to have your notebook with you and write down some of the refutations and refute them.
Yes. As opposed to thinking I have to write out every single one.
Yeah, because that's going to exhaust you over time. Maybe the first weekend you might need to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You,
And
you don't,
that's the thing too, writing refutations does start out like that, but then it tapers off. And I know that too. So
because the
I
pig
need
says the
to
same thing over and over again.
same.
It's going to taste good. You deserve
Oh,
it. You can't go without
honestly.
this. Yeah.
It's
But
like
you're suffering
the
so much.
same. I
You know,
know,
it's not fair.
literally.
Nobody else is going through this. It's not fair.
I
Wow,
know.
wow, 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 wow.
It's so crazy. I'm like, are you really still telling me this? And the horrible thing is, I'm still actually listening to you sometimes, but you're telling me the same
Sabina,
thing.
it's forgivable. It's forgivable.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot. Under stress, we regress. You've still got it though. You're still very sharp. You understand what's going on. I can feel your life energy, and we just got to fine tune a couple of things. You'll be okay. If you want to follow up in a month or two, just write me a note, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Glenn. I would appreciate that. That sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
And that brings us to the end of today's broadcast of Defeat Your Cravings, hosted by Dr. Glenn Livingston. Now, if you'd like to find out more about the products and services Dr. Glenn offers to help you dramatically reduce your cravings and stop overeating in 90 days or less, please visit defeatyourcravingscoaching.com. That's defeatyourcravingscoaching.com. Thanks.